By all accounts, it appears to have worked. Oh, this footage looks a little jittery. Ugh. My guy. Gosh, a counter. Cross counter. Alright, so I'm going to flip this card. Oh, it flipped automatically because I took too long. It's a gimme goal. I don't want that. I didn't get the Clodsire. It doesn't matter which one you pick. You always get the same thing. Punish? That's a good punish. Oh, it keeps going. One more, baby. Okay, he went for, Oh, I love that. No, Roundhouse is going for a kill without using super, because there's still another round even if he wins. Ugh. That's an unusual TC to use as an A tier. That's medium punch, medium kick, heavy punch, right? I think. Usually, when people anti-air TC, they use medium kick, hard punch, which is 4 hits. Whoa! Hold on. I just realized the chat. Alright, don't go anywhere. There it goes. I didn't pause the video for that. I have the chat behind something. I could see it on my OBS, but I couldn't see it on my main screen. Lucario doesn't help Hitmonlee, so I understand not running those together. The way the current meta is shaping up is really making me want to run a Lumineon. I just want to hit things in the back for 50. Am I crazy? I need to find a good deck that uses Lumineon, or else make one. I want Lumineon and then some Mon that can perform well enough with relatively low energies that I can Cyrus and then just like go into that Mon and just fuck shit up. My heart and soul are telling me that Starmie is the Mon I'm thinking of. That way I can kind of, with my 2 no retreat Mons, I can kind of go back and forth between them pretty easily. Alright, so Starmie, Lumineon, what else? Where do I go from here? Manaphy? I was thinking about Manaphy. I don't need energy that much, but Manaphy would be, it would make it really easy to have both set up at once. I could just chuck a Palkia in there too as like an additional thing that can receive energies from Manaphy. I think you want a lot of basics in a deck with Manaphy just so you're always like loading up 2 things. So just a random EX Palkia just cause. What else? Palkia also serves as a nice thing to just dump all your extra energies onto once everything's set up. Manaphy, Palkia, Lumineon, Cyrus, Starmie. That's like enough Mons. Put some reds, some comms, maybe Neono. Alright, I'm making this deck right now. No one go anywhere. Just look at the Yang and the Dudley. Watch them dance. Alright, which deck gets the kill? I've only got cool decks and I've got 20 of them, damn it. They need to just increase the deck count to 50 and have me not worry about it anymore. I guess I'm killing the Raichu Luxray deck even though I quite like it. No, I want to keep playing it. The Zam deck? The Zam deck is kind of suspect. I'm going to get rid of the Zam deck. I'll find a good Alakazam deck that someone else made. What is the Gallade deck? Oh, It's that galley deck. I have two of them. I touched up one of them to include EX Lucario. So I've got two regular Lucarios and an EX Lucario in my deck. And the idea is, you know, maybe sometimes I'll need the EX Lucario. But I haven't played it enough to even have it, even play the EX Lucario yet. Yeah, it's just too weak. It needs to be doing like 120 damage or 40 damage to a benchmon or something. It just needs a higher number, or it needs two energies. Either of those would do it. Beautiful. Oh, never mind. Not beautiful anymore. I will call this deck Luminion. Starmie. I'm very good at naming decks. I should have called it Starminion. That's such a better name that I'm actually going to change it. Gotta go with the Manaphy box. Gotta go with the Manaphy coin. The thing about EX Lucario that shines is that it doesn't require almost any deck space. It requires like the lone card. Aerodactyl, you gotta run like 4 cards. Of course, it's way better, but it just requires a lot more commitment. I think any deck themed... Oh, what a nice red parry. I think any deck themed around EX Lucario is ass, but EX Lucario can slot into a surprising number of decks. Starminion looks a lot stupider now that I've written it down. Alright, Starminion. Looks a little bit cleaner. No, he missed the back strong. This Ken is too damn good. Let me take a cursory look through all these water types. In my soul, I want to play Poliwrath now they've added Manaphy. I don't think it's a good mon, but I want to play it. $80 damage for 3 energies is not particularly good, and the inherent Rocky Helmet effect is kind of cool. Yeah, Rampardos, once it sets up so fast. I've never even thought about regular Starmie. It's literally the same as Driftblim. It's like the same in every way. It's 1 energy for 40 damage, weak to electric, 0 retreat, cost 90 HP. All the attributes are the same, the only difference is the type. Alright, Starmie. I have 2 Finneons to run. I'm gonna go look at the other one to remind myself what it does. Where the frick is it? There it is. Elegant Swim. Flip a coin if heads during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all damage and effects of attacks done to this Pokemon. Ah, but it's got only 50 HP and does only 10 damage. Is that better? I honestly can't tell if that's better. Having a stall card is usually kind of powerful. And losing 10 damage is not a big deal, but losing 10 HP might really suck ass. This is a water deck, so I might as well just put a Rita in there. I'm going to use just the Finneon that does 20. 2 Manaphies. My gold Palkia. Maybe a regular Palkia just for fun. If I'm running Palkia, I should probably chuck a Leaf in here. Leaf feels pretty stupid, actually. I think I'll just deal if I lead with Palkia. Leaf in a deck with 2 Mons that have 0 retreat cost feels just dumb. What I could do with this deck is put Island Vaporeon in it. Because I have energy that I can just... I have free retreat cost Mons, so I can just pass the same energies back and forth between them. That's kind of enticing. But I think I'm really starting to fill out my deck. I think that might end up being better than Manaphy. I think I can maybe do that instead of Manaphy. Nice, super. That's an enticing idea. Leafeon attaches energy, so in a sense it does help your Pokemon leave. Because you can use energies to retreat. I think if he did third Rekka, it was not enough. Oh no, Ken overextended. He thought it was enough and it was not. Island Vaporeon and Palkia put me at 14 Mons total. 14 cards dedicated to Mons. That's not enough, because I won't have room for Cyrus and Communication and Iono and all that. Let's chuck an Iono in there. Misty doesn't feel super necessary if I'm running Manaphy. Two Cyrus. A Pokemon Communication, just one. Helmet and Cape? Hard to say. I'm already at my limit. I feel like Misty is really nice in ranked because it forces early forfeit sometimes. And, you know, let's be real. It's, you know, if you lead with Palkia and you happen to get a good Misty flip, that's just game ending. I feel like I should make room for Misty in this deck. Maybe over the Manaphy, actually. Because Starmie and Lumineon can be built up organically. I agree. Misty feels weird when the only card I have that needs a lot of energy is Palkia. Do I need the Palkia? It feels a little silly. It's tempting to take out the Palkia and the Manaphy and just put in the Island Vaporeon. This is a hard call. One, two. I need. I would like. I'll have 8 basics, counting the Manaphys if I have 2 Palkias. Yeah, Misty can allow me to rapidly win. I feel like I've got to make room for Misty. Then again, I really like the Manaphy, just like setting up various other Mons so that they can just come in on Manaphy's retreat the next turn and then just instantly start doing stuff. I don't have a Rita in this deck, and it feels like it should absolutely be here because of my free retreat and my multiple energies. Ugh. It's hard to tell what the weak link is. The Pokemon communication doesn't need to be there. Having to make room for both Misty and Arita is difficult. But they're two of the best cards in the game, and I should absolutely run them in a water deck. He had Super to close it out there. Beedrill Meowscarada I've been playing a lot. It's insanely good. It doesn't seem like it's good, but the matchups, you actually end up being super strong against everything. Basically, every Mon in the game loses to either Beedrill or Meowscarada. I guess Rampardo just doesn't. There you go. There's one Mon that doesn't lose to both. Maybe. A jab anti-air into forward dash is funny. Damn. The deck would be insanely simple if I took out Lumineon and Finneon and put Arita and Misty. But the thing is, that's literally the thing that I made the deck around. Same with taking out Starmie. I think the mistake was adding Palkia. My HP values are super low without Palkia. Lumineon only has 80 and Starmie only has 130, which is good but bad for an EX-Mon. 120 is the lowest EX health in the game, and they're all electric types. It's Pikachu and Pachirisu. After that, there's like a multi-way tie for 130. Celebi, Mew, Starmie, I think another one somewhere. Oh, it was good. Ugh. I need like 10 people to lab every version of this deck, and I'll report their results to me. Manaphy feels pretty easy to slot in. I think I can get away with only having one Palkia, but the problem is I want basically 4 deck slots. And Palkia, Misty is mostly justified by Palkia. And mostly, like, it makes more sense to remove Manaphy if I'm going to put in Misty. I think we could take out both Manaphy's and just put in Misty's. And just YOLO like that. There's so many Pokegirl 2 stars. How did this happen? I don't have Misty or Sabrina or Leaf. or Budding Expeditioner. However, I do have Rare Art, Dawn, and Mars, and Arita, and Iono. I got all the waifus. Just kidding, they're all waifus. Is Dawn a waifu? Dawn's not a waifu. Dawn's self-insert. I don't even know if Arita's a waifu. I didn't play her game. This deck still has no Arita in it. It would be possible to take out one Palkia for an Arita and just have one Palkia in the deck. And in fact, I think that's probably good. Because I don't want to lead with Palkia that much. We'll just have our lone Palkia. I think a lot of people in the beginning of TCG Pocket were very afraid to have lone cards in their deck. And now there are so many good cards that people are just playing around more with the idea. I love that EXTP there. Rude. It's fine to have just like a single basic and not two of it. It's okay to have one Palkia. You're not obligated to run two Palkias. There's no Benson in the back to say run these two Palkias or you're fired. You should jump medium kick. That looks like too not meaty. I don't think Super Link was possible there. Damn. I put down Pocket, by the way. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Well, I'll still talk about it, but I'm not going to talk about it as I do anymore. Juggle? Yep. You got a nice high connect on that one. I think fighting decks were the first to realize that you could run singles of things. Wow. That was what killed it for you? The thing is, trading removes the main time sink, I feel. Oh, that double DP is really hard on twins. Before trading, you had to like draw over and over to get like an EX you wanted. After trading, you just needed to get any EX, and then you could just trade for the EX you need. Oh, what a red. It's just boring. Oh, okay. That's fine. Marshadow is such a simple and elegant Pokemon. I was thinking about that on the drive to work today. The only thing about it that's very awkward is its 2 retreat cost. Is it 2? It is, right? Or am I high? It is just 1. Man, okay, I'm just high. Never mind. What's the mon I'm thinking of those 2? It's Lucario. The awkward thing about Lucario is its 2 retreat cost. Alright, Marshadow is fine. The awkward thing about Marshadow is when you're forced to lead with it. That's a bad feeling. I was thinking a fighting box deck with Skyman would be kind of interesting, because a lot of good fighting mons are 1 retreat cost. Like Marshadow and Hitmonlee and all that. I've been really surprised that... Oh! He went for game. I don't know what he did. He parried 3 times and then it looked like he jumped. It looked like he was going for instant air parry. But normally you instant air parry the 4th hit and not the 5th hit. Pokemon TCG Pocket has become one of my real interests, but the thing is, I can make money off of it, and most people are not in that scenario. Universal Overhead. Oh, Universal Overhead to dodge? That's insane. Like to make Ken go under you? I would have to lab that to see what the hell's going on. I read it as a pre-jump frame, or like a early air jump frames, but yeah, it could well have been an overhead. People be coming up with the craziest stuff. Or I can parry on the way up for hit number 4. That what a crazy thing to know about. I never would have labbed that. I do some of Oro's bizarre, hyper-optimal stuff like that. I do the Dudley one frequently. The Dudley one is very easy and very funny looking. Against Dudley SA1, you can parry 3 hits of the 3rd DP and then jump instant air parry another hit, and then you get to punish him with a full jump combo instead of just a regular stand strong. You would only attempt to parry Ken's super if you had some insanely cool thing you could do. Can you not just parry the entire Ken super and get heavy spin hook? Is it that slow? That's embarrassing. I didn't do that in my Necro Optimal Shipu Punish video, which is a real video that I made. Great with punish. Oh yeah, you can't do Karas after a parry. That's an annoying little thing about this game. Yo, I think the Ken's going down after a 14 win streak. Hi. Oh, thank God. Stand strong was enough. It's good for the side switch. Oh, look at that. Down parry into heavy spin hook. That's one of my favorite combos in the game. I tried to play Necro for a little while just purely because of that combo. Heavy spin hook, back medium kick, EX spin hook. It's just cool looking. I think you can do back roundhouse into EX spin hook, can't you? But I don't know if you can do back roundhouse after heavy spin hook. I feel like you can't, but maybe you can. Oh, the dizzy. Oh, he was too far away. Surprised that back jab didn't dizzy. Oh. I think it was a back jab, maybe it was a back strong. What happened there? The Necro player got tackled by a fan, clearly. I didn't know that. Oh no. It's such a bad feel to eat that combo. It puts me through 1% of the pain other people feel when they're eating my unblockable combos. Light spin hook is one of Necro's best features, honestly. Oh, it's over. Yum. When that gets 5 hits, it's this optimal punish. It does more damage than his EX Enders. It's character dependent how many hits you get. My hospital problems, not only did they fixed them like 2 full months ago. Yes. Should I talk about my hospital job some? I had a pretty funny story. I might have told it. I don't think I did. So I did the worst thing that I can actually do. I have 2 things that I can never, ever, ever do. Working in a hospital. They are... Okay, as an X-ray tech, I should say. They are shooting an X-ray that's not diagnostic and harming a patient. And in thinking I did one, I ended up doing the other, which is kind of interesting. It's quite a story. Kill a patient would be a very extreme version of harm a patient. So it was kind of not my fault, but also kind of my fault. I had I was a snowstorm. I mean, I was a snowflake in an avalanche or whatever. I was part of the mess. Nice link. So there I was. I X-rayed. I did not X-ray my own ass. Hi, Yes, I still have a job. In fact, I didn't get any trouble, even though everyone knew what I did. What a parry. He still got owned, though. He should have kept parrying. Of course, it was high, low, high, 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 high. Of course, obviously. Let me actually tell this story. There I am. I'm up in the tower. Did I tell this? Man, I don't remember. I'm just going to tell it. I think I told my friends. That's why I was thinking about it. The tower is really far away from the main radiology department. It's about a 15-minute round trip to go over there. And I have to lug over my portable X-ray machine as well, which is not heavy. It's automated. It drives itself. But it doesn't move very fast. It's slightly slower than walking speed, so it's annoying. So I take my portable X-ray machine over to the tower, and I go up to the 3rd floor, which is where the patient is. And the room is contact isolation, which means I have to wear a gown, and I have to wear gloves, and I have to wipe off all the equipment after I finish in the room with like Clorox wipes. That's a nuisance. And then the patient's wife is in there. The patient's like unconscious, or he's conscious, but he's not responsive. Like his eyes are open, but he's not like looking at me, and he doesn't say anything when I talk to him. The levels of consciousness that are not typical. And I go in there to shoot my X-ray. I gown up, and I tell the wife to step out of the room for just a little minute. I shoot my X-ray. On my first shot, the plate is just a teeny tiny bit low, and I clip the apices of the lungs. I'm like, darn. And so I try for an all-in-one. I could have just got the top, but I try for an all-in-one. I just raise the plate like a little smidge. But the guy starts tipping over, and I fix him. But in the process of fixing him, the plate is not perfectly centered behind him, and I clip one of the custom frank angles. And the thing is, I now have a complete picture of the top of the lungs and a complete picture of the bottom of the lungs. So this Dudley likes doing that. So this is a fairly common thing in X-ray. I just sent both, and I just cropped it, It's like I got the full lungs across the 2 pictures. The radiologist can figure it out. He's a grown man. In some cases, a grown woman. So I do that. Well, I don't do that yet. I finish with my X-ray, and I park my portable machine outside, and then I'm getting gloves and wipes to start wiping down the equipment. Oh! Cross counter. And some guy goes over to my machine, failed super. I don't understand how Dudleys accidentally get the machine gun blow on their failed supers. It's like, why was that a half circle? How'd you get a half circle in there, bro? Nice. some guy has opened up my machine and is looking down at it, and he's wearing scrub color I don't recognize. It's like dark gray, but it's one that very rarely do they wear it at my hospital. It's like charcoal, actually. And he's got a stethoscope dangled around his neck, and stethoscope dangled around neck is usually a telltale sign of doctor, but not always. So I figure he's some particular form of MD or like DO or something like that. You know, he's one of them. And he's doing some MD behaviors, which is looking at my X-ray without asking, and you know, evaluating an X-ray like in general is like, you know, something a doctor would do. It's something that other people probably wouldn't try to do. Look at an X-ray. Oh, he went for the double DP. I love that combo. Um, so you know, I'm not like pissed or anything, but he like looks at the X-ray, and he's like, "Huh, that looks good, doesn't it?" And I'm like, "Does it?" My exact words were like, "You tell me," because I don't evaluate my X-rays for symptoms. I evaluate my X-rays for including the relevant anatomy, and that's it. I can't make those calls. I'm not trained medically to diagnose. If I look at a pair of lungs, you know, I can see some opacities, but I don't know what they mean. Nice. So this guy looks at the lungs that I shot, and he's like, "Oh, that looks really good." And I'm like, "Okay, you're probably a doctor or something." I'm like, "You tell me." He says, "I think it looks good." I'm like, "Oh, that's good," you know. And then he leaves. And he looked at my X-rays before I annotated and cropped them. Okay, this is gonna be important later. So after he leaves, I wipe down the machine, and then I annotate and crop my shots. And so I have 90% of the lungs in the shot that clips the costophrenic angle. Damn, he got the red parry and missed the punish. So I include that whole shot, and then the shot the first one I did, where I just had the costophrenic angles. I mean, where I had everything except the ipses. I just include the costophrenic angles from that, and I just call them 1 of 2, 2 of 2, and I send them, and that's that. And this is a very, very ordinary thing that X-ray rad techs do. Depends on the hospital protocol a little bit too. Some hospitals like having an all-in-one. My hospital doesn't give a shit. So I do that. And then I go over to one of the other locations that I have to go shoot an X-ray in, which is nowhere close to the tower. And then while I'm over there introducing myself to the patient, I get a call from one of the other rad techs in my hospital, and he's in ER. He's not in the X-ray room. He's like in the ER. I love that juggle. So that's really strange already to be getting a call from him. Normally, if someone's trying to communicate with me when I'm out doing inpatients, they're coming from diagnostic and not from the ER. And he calls me and he tells me that they want me to reshoot the one I just shot in the tower, which to me is like, oh shit, I really fucked up. An X-ray has to be pretty bad for it to be considered non-diagnostic and for them to want you to repeat it. I've had 3 total X-rays, or 2 total X-rays like that. I'll tell the story about them when I'm all done with this. But it's like you should have 0. It's bad if you shoot an X-ray and it's not useful. That's really bad. My other 2 were both as a student. Well, my only 2. Anyway, I'm like, shit. What's wrong with it? Is what I say, because it looked good to me. And my coworker's like, they can only see 3 ribs or something like that. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, that's a really weird thing to say. I did a chest X-ray, so you're not trying to look at ribs. The one thing is sometimes on chest X-rays, you want to count the posterior ribs to make sure that the lungs are sufficiently inflated. You can see through the lungs in an X-ray, and you can see the ribs. And ideally, you want to have 10 posterior ribs on each side for a full inhalation of the lungs. Full inspiration. So I figured he was talking about that, but what he was saying made no sense. It was like they can only see 3rd rib or something like that. I was like, huh? He's like, I don't know, man. That's just what they told me. And I was like, okay. So I'm like, I'll just go back over there, get ready to reshoot it. And I finish up with my patient in that one location. I go back to the tower. I've got to put on the isolation gown again. I've got to shoo the woman out of the room again. And she asked me, you know, why are you redoing it? And I'm like, I can't say I don't know. That's what I'm thinking before I go in. I can't say I don't know. So before I go in, I call my department and I'm like, hey, why am I repeating the shot? And this one I actually call the department. I don't call my I don't call the guy who called me. And my department lead is like, I don't know, man. I just know they want to reshoot it, and like, um, what do you say? He's like, they haven't put in an order yet, and I'm like, oh, that's fine. I'll just shoot it as an emergency. He missed the link. What kind of punish is this, Stairman House? I feel like I'd hit that punish like 99 times out of 100, and then this Dudley, who's like a zillion times better than me, just drops it. Um, he doesn't know why we're repeating it, but he tells me the order's not in yet, and I'm like, I'll shoot it as an emergency, and then we'll worry about it. So I do that, and then I come back to the department after shooting the X-ray again, and I get it all in one this time, so I'm happy. Um, the one thing I was kind of considering is he had a ventilator mask on, and you could see it in the very top of his lungs. And I was thinking maybe they would consider it an artifact. Normally, when there's stuff like that, you can't easily take off or move or anything like that. They just tolerate it. But this one, I was like, okay, maybe they just don't like that that was covering up like the top rib or something like that. Anyway, this new shot, I have him tilt his head way back, and it works. I like don't have him fully upright, so he can tilt his head back without it being weighed down by gravity. And they're not in the shot anymore. So I figured that was probably going to be the end of it. Also, I didn't know. I wondered if they were evaluating a rib issue as well, because like that would make sense if it was like we're just ordering a chest X-ray, but we also know that he has some kind of problem with his ribs, so we want to see his ribs as well. Sometimes they do that. Sometimes they'll like order a chest X-ray for a shoulder just to get an AP view of the shoulder to like see what's going on in there, stuff like that. Every now and then, doctors will make those calls. They get an initial look and then determine whether they want to do an X-ray for like more. Order a rib series, because the rib series is quite annoying. Nice. He didn't super cancel. Anyway, I make it back to the department, and my team lead is pretty mad. Not at me. He's pretty mad with... He's like on a conversation on the phone. And it turns out, okay, my initial pictures were never submitted. The radiologist never saw them. No doctor ever saw them. I did the repeat under the assumption that it was reordered, and it was never ordered. And it turns out that the person who leaned over my shot was a respiratory therapist, and to some degree he can evaluate lungs, I'm sure, but I don't know if he's like licensed to like diagnose anything. Probably yes. I have no idea. But what he's not licensed to do is order X-rays. And what he did, he's also not supposed to open up packs, but he opened up packs, and he opened up my exam that I hadn't even submitted yet, which is also something he's not supposed to do. And he saw the bottom of the lungs from the first shot I took, where I only submitted the bottom. He saw it originally with the whole lungs in there, and then on this reshoot, he saw just the bottom. Or not the reshoot, when I submitted it, because I cut off the top. Like, deliberately, it's just what you're supposed to do there. And there's another picture showing the top of the lungs, but I don't know if he didn't know how packs worked, but he didn't notice that there was another picture. I think he didn't know how to use packs or something. He just saw the concentrating angles, and he was like, oh, like, the tech fucked up when submitting the image. And so he told the nurse that, and the nurse, instead of doing any normal thing, the nurse hopped on Vocera and paged any rad tech instead of calling our department or calling the radiologist or anything like that. And she just told us, she didn't say an MD ordered it, she didn't say who ordered it, no one ordered it. She told us that they wanted a repeat on the X-ray. So the nurse failed to communicate that it was not coming from a doctor, and the radiation therapist, who shouldn't have even been looking at the shot and who also fucked up in evaluating it, he wasn't licensed to... He can't order X-rays, and the nurse can't order X-rays. So they both kind of fucked up, and it was partially because of this telephone game that we were playing, and then I didn't hear it from them. I would have asked relevant questions, but my coworker, who was the one who took the call, couldn't answer relevant questions because he was in the ER shooting an X-ray. He was like with a patient when he got called. Yeah, it really was. And then when I called my like lead, he just heard the stuff like also telephone game, so he didn't know it wasn't ordered by a radiologist or a doctor. Radiologists are doctors, but I mean like radiologist versus MD. Um, anyway, I'm the one who pulls the trigger, and what I did was I shot an X-ray without an order, which you're not supposed to do because it's giving unnecessary radiation to someone. Now, this guy was in his 80s, and it was a chest X-ray, which has very low radiation, but it was an X-ray that I did not have to do, and that's like one of the things you're never supposed to do in my line of work is shoot X-rays without orders, or like shoot unnecessary X-rays on people. That's like a pretty big fuck up. But it was a very understandable fuck up for me to fall victim to. Now, my actual mistake here, the thing I actually truly aired, and wasn't like just other people failing me, is that uh, there has to be a new order. I thought that there wasn't going to be a new order because I thought we were just appending the existing order. But even if you shoot a terrible X-ray, there needs to be a new order for a new X-ray. Like you're not just appending the previous one. You're doing a new one. So unless either there is an order in, or you've got an MD looking at you in the face and saying, "I'm gonna put an order in," like just shoot the X-ray. I have to wait for an order. Yeah. And that happens frequently. Sometimes, it'll be like, we're going to intubate the patient. We want to make sure the intubation, the ET tube is in the right spot. Like, shoot the X-ray. No, there's no order in, but shoot the X-ray, damn it. We'll put the order in, we promise. That happens. Saving a patient's life always comes first. Paperwork is, a thing that can, you know, wait, basically. But there's still that promise that the MD will do it. Or at the very least, you'll be able to say, well, the MD told me to, and then he'll be the one under the bus. Anyway, I'm pretty pissed, because, like, first of all, I thought that after all this ends, we still haven't closed out the exam yet, so still no one's seen the x-rays. And it's like, okay, what are we going to do from here? And the shot I shot later was kind of the best shot, so we ended up just submitting that one and not sending the initial two I shot. And we ended up. This is the part that's kind of I don't love this. Um, we ended up not putting in an incident report. We could have, but my team lead was like, because like we could get the respiratory therapist in trouble for what he did, but we would also have to confess to the fact that we shot an X-ray without an order. Why is there a SA2 Yuan on the screen? Well, hold on, slow down. This is like my favorite super in the game. Not only is it really cool, but the setups are really cool. SA2 Yuan is a super interesting novel character. No, I wouldn't have anyway. Oh, nice confirm. SA2 Yuan actually has a lot of confirms. A lot of TCs go into it. Well, like 3. No, like 2. He's got some weird links into it. You can do like low strong SA2 or low strong stand short SA2, stand strong stand short SA2, 2 low shorts SA2, etc. Universal overhead SA2. It's like sufficiently fast that you can link into it. Oh. Anyway, they decided not to, but like, I don't know, I feel like the respiratory therapist kind of fucked up there. Like, pretty bad to set that whole thing in motion, and probably should have gotten in trouble for it, even if I got in trouble for it. That was a crutching hit. Beefy. It helps Yun's punish game, too. Like, Gene Jin is insanely good, but like, if Yun just parries like a low from far away or something like that, Gene's not always something you can combo to. You'll typically just combo into like a dash punch and then set up Gene on their meaty. Which is honestly probably better than low medium kick SA2 or something like that. SA 112. And now we're back to Gene. Anyway, I was so afraid that I shot a non-diagnostic X-ray. At the end of it, we're all looking at the X-rays I shot, and everyone in my department was like, "These X-rays are fine. Like, you didn't need to repeat these at all." And it's kind of a sigh of relief for me. It's like, yeah, they were good, weren't they? Because I really spent the entire day thinking I shot a non-diagnostic X-ray, and by the entire day, I mean like the first hour of my shift, which is a very embarrassing thing. It's not a fireable offense, but it's sure bad. It'd be a fireable offense if I did it a lot. Super jump cancel. Look at that, the corpse hop from the dash punches. Not the corpse hop, the corpse push. So about those times that I did shoot non-diagnostic X-rays, one of them I was a student. Not both, I lied. Twice I shot non-diagnostic X-rays. The first time I was a student, it was a C-spine X-ray. I was with someone who wasn't very good. He had just graduated, and he wasn't super talented at his job, honestly. And we shot a lateral C-spine, AP C-spine, and then I went for an odontoid, and I fucked it up because I was a student, and honestly, the odontoid is just hard even on the best of times. And so I think he took a try at the odontoid and also fucked it up. And then we went for a fugues and fucked it up. And I think he decided to just submit the bad fugues and that be it. And he was like, it's whatever. Or no, he submitted one of the odontoids, and it was like not good, and we didn't submit the fugues because it was that bad, and we didn't submit the other odontoid because it wasn't any more diagnostic than the first one. Anyway, that was his call and not my call. And then, as it turns out, we got harassed by one of the, not we, but like my department got chewed out by one of the radiologists after the fact because the X-ray series was not very good. The patient did need surgery, and our X-ray series was like, you couldn't see the C7 on our lateral. We needed to do a swimmers, and C7 was an area of interest for her condition. So like it needed to see C7 as well. They need to do it again. Well, just get the swimmers. And then while they were looking at that, they also observed that the odontoid was useless. I think that one was less the area of interest, but it was just like, why is this odontoid so terrible on this shot that's already bad because we don't have C7? So in the process of, oh, nice jump. No cancel. We didn't include C1, C2, or C7 in our, like there's 7 bones in the C-spine, and we only included good shots of 4 of them. So that's not great. But again, I just did stuff, like my only real fuck up there was messing up an odontoid, which is something that I still do as a seasoned tech. Odontoids, I get them more often than I don't, but my overall success rate with odontoids is the lowest of any X-ray. Even my Reese, I get more Reeses than I get odontoids. Reese is notoriously hard. The other time was also kind of not my fault, but kind of my fault. It was a weird case. It was I'm up in the inpatients in my current job as a seasoned graduated tech, and I get a call from I'm upstairs doing inpatients, and I get a call from my lead, and he's like, go to a patient in the ICU, and I'm like, okay, Q spotted. Yuan has a really funny combo in this matchup. Whoa, blood taunt. I respect that. I think that was a good play. Like, look how little health he lost. That's 100% worth. So I go to the ICU, and it's a chest x-ray, but he doesn't give me the reason for the chest x-ray. And it turns out that the chest x-ray was to evaluate for pneumothorax. And that's one of the only times you actually care about what the x-ray is for. Like, if you're looking for a specific tube, like if it was NG tube or ET tube or something like that, then you need to make sure that the NG tube is in the shot. But apart from that, you're just going for, like, lungs and, like, heart, and that's it. Chest x-ray is pretty straightforward. But the one very, very specific thing about doing a pneumothorax X-ray is that pneumothorax is looking for when the lungs leak air into the thoracic cavity, pleural cavity, whatever they call that thing. Basically, your lungs and your heart are floating in a big hole in your chest, and there's not supposed to be any air in that hole. And sometimes the lungs will leak air into that hole if something goes wrong. And that's pneumothorax. And the thing about it is that when you got air in your lung space like that, if you're lying on your back, it's spread out over the whole lungs. But if you're upright, it pulls at the top because air rises. And you can see it really easily if it's at the top, but you can't see it very easily if the patient is like lying down because it'll be all spread out across the whole lung field. So you need the patient to be upright for that one, for pneumothorax. It's essential, or else you can't see it. And I'm in the ICU, which is a very unusual place to be evaluating for pneumothorax. Normally you're kind of doing it elsewhere. You don't need them to stand up necessarily. Ooh, Tyrant, Punisher. But if they're standing up, it's ideal. But, you know, you can have them just sitting up. Anyway, the patient's in the ICU, and the patient's unconscious, and the patient's hooked up to like a gazillion things. And I look to the nurse, and I'm like, hey, can we sit the patient up? And the nurse is like, no. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so we shoot the X-ray supine, which I normally don't do for chest X-rays, but in the ICU I make exceptions. And I label it accurately in my annotations. I put portable supine on my chest X-ray. And then it turns out that it's for pneumothorax. That looked like a stand fierce, or perhaps a taunt. Probably a stand fierce. Turns out that it's for pneumothorax, and the radiologist is like, hey, by the way, was this actually supine? And our department is like, yeah, we believe so. And then the radiologist is like, okay, well, this is useless then. Can't use that to evaluate for a pneumothorax. And I didn't know that. Well, I knew that, but I didn't know that it was for pneumothorax. No one told me. And I couldn't look it up because I was upstairs. So what I had to do was ask a nurse, like, hey, why are we doing this X-ray, by the way? Which I didn't do. I wonder if there's some way to punish that Crouch Fierce with SA2. Q is really goofily bad at stuff like that. Q has this insanely awkward thing where he only has like 2 cancels at all. And one of them is off a close normal, the good one. He's got cancelable close jab, close medium kick, and back roundhouse. And the back roundhouse one is mostly useless because it knocks down. It's only useful for canceling against a taunt. Launcher. Would Launcher have gotten there in time? Light kick Launcher after the blocked uppercut? Blocked Crouch Fierce? Maybe. I feel like it's not fast enough. Light kick Launcher does combat to SA2. Anyway, it's good that I labeled it correctly because, you know, that way we could reshoot it. It's good that it was identified as being a useless X-ray. What about Urien's Launcher? I forgot what I said. Hi. Catch our punch and block, yeah. How minus is that? It's quite minus. I wonder if there's some way... He fell out! I think he was going for the partial. I think he wanted like the little baby SA1. The fat stacks have actually been... I don't know what to do with them. So I'm making something like $44 an hour base rate. Maybe it would have. I wasn't sure if it was in range or not. The range on that is better than it looks, but it's not amazing. Anyway, I make about $44 an hour, and the thing is it's actually way higher than that because I'm usually doing overnight shifts, and there's a pay differential for people who do overnights. So on a typical overnight shift, I make $5 extra an hour. And on an overnight shift on a weekend, I make $15 extra an hour. And I work every weekend. So I'm pulling like almost $60 an hour on my weekend overnights, which is pretty cool. Anyway, my lifestyle hasn't changed from when I was making literally no money as a student. My lifestyle has changed just a little bit. I used to not get coffee when I was at work, like eating lunch there, and now I get coffee. But that's like the only lifestyle change I've made ever since they started to pay me. I mean, I bought a car. The car I own now is the first car I ever bought myself. I paid 100% of the money for it. Most of the money came from my last car being totaled. I bought my last car jointly with my mom, but this new one is mine. Yes. Oh no. The car is a Ford Fusion Energy. I didn't like it at first, but I've come around to it. Don't ask me why I bought a car I didn't like. I didn't overpay for it. I kind of got it at a steal. Oh, you should see how they spell energy if you think that's a cool name. It's a hybrid car. I wanted an electric car, but my electric car options weren't amazing. And I didn't want to buy a Tesla because they're overpriced, and also I would punch Elon Musk in the face. An RG. No, I think it's just energy, but with an I. Wake up, Stomp. A Prius is just fine. And by just fine, I mean a perfect car. No, 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 no. It's getting worse and worse. Oh, oh, he... jump jab dizzy. It's probably the only time an Alex player has ever dizzied with jump jab. Anyway, a hybrid car is good enough. Bro tried to anti-air a close jump with a close jab. Like this was SF3. But it is not, bro. Close jab sucks. Well, that's a start. Towards Fierce was probably not the thing he should have done. I think he wanted heavy chop. Since heavy chop would be a very sensible thing to do there, and towards Fierce was a very bad thing to do there. And he just got a cross under, so it makes sense if his inputs were a little schmixed. That was minus on hit. Towards Fierce is a poke. It actually worked. Diesel car. There were a lot of exceptionally cheap cars that were hydrogen cars. California has like some kind of weird rebate for them, but only for like the certain amount of time. And then once that time runs out, a lot of people just get rid of their hybrid cars. I mean, not hybrid, their hydrogen, whatever they call them. Is it hydrogen? What are they? Some nonsense. Hydrogen car. Nice. Helium car. Is it helium? That sounds right. Yeah. What is it? Now I'm second guessing myself. Basically every decently priced car had like a accident in its history. I was gonna get some kind of Kia. I found one I really liked, but it had like a moderate accident in its history, and I chickened out. But then the car I ended up getting also had an accident in its history, The thing is, I don't plan on reselling the car. Having an accident in the car's history tanks the car's value, which is good if you're buying it and terrible if you're selling it. But there's always a danger when you buy a car that's been in an accident. It's like, what if there's like damage to the frame that just hasn't been discovered or something like that? There's always this fear of like this, you know, something wrong with it you're going to have to deal with. But I wasn't planning on ever selling the car. I just want to run it to the ground. I want to buy a car and run it to the ground. That's my goal with every car I own. I'm not trying to resell it. Anyway, this car was not overly expensive. I did have to pay quite a few $1,000s out of my own pocket because although my previous car was totaled, I don't know. It's actually a really awkward situation when your car is totaled. Because they gave me a fair price for my car, I think. But it wasn't enough to replace it because while the price for my car was fair, every car I can buy is newer than my car that was totaled. So I have to like spend money out of my pocket to get something equivalent. Like I had a well-maintained car from 2007 or whatever it was. I think it was 2007. And then I'm looking at all the cars and it's like, well, I don't want a 2007 car because they're all shitty. But I've either got to get a shitty 2007 car, it's going to be worse than the one I got totaled, or I've got to get a car from like relatively modern times. Wow. Good shit. I think you have a little bit of time before you can go for the low parries there. I think it's not actually that hard. That being said, I don't know how hard it is. But I think it's not. You don't have to like parry like during the super freeze because you just have to parry once you land. There's a little bit of time before you land. The thing about cars is there's some degree of planned obsolescence. A lot of cars would last an insane amount of time. But you're kind of expected to turn it in after a point. Like, cars can be built to last, and a lot of them are. Most of them. But people don't treat them like they're built to last. Whoa. And he got the heavy spin hook. They need to bring back that Yuan. I say 2 Yuan. They need to bring back that 12. How are they going to leave this video with stuff like Yuan and 12 and Akuma? And now we're just back to Necro and Dudley. How do things like this happen? No, I like Necro a lot. In fact, I even like Dudley. But how are we back here? Watch this one be Yang. Oh, thank God. It wasn't Yang. A lot can happen when you parry electricity. Down fierce. My beloved. Dudley's low jump is such a fiendish option for him. Weapon. It's a funny frame that we saw Necro there. Most of Necro's frames are funny, actually. Necro's a masterclass in animation. very interesting, the idea of having a character that's not human at all in the way that they attack. Like, you have characters like Blanca where a person wouldn't think to attack like that naturally, but then you have characters like Necro who are doing things a human can't even do. Like with Sim, he's doing real attacks, it's just that they're extending his arms artificially, and they just call it magic. But Necro actually has to, like, swing long arms. Swing long legs. Oh, the throwback of that. You see that? The Crouch Fierce hit a midair opponent and it sent the lethal screen. That's the thing in this game. The amount of distance you get thrown after eating and getting reset after like an air or an AT-air. It's based on the strength of the normal. Necro's Donger is probably like regular size, but if you pull on it, it could probably get huge. Okay, obviously Blanca does in fact have some things that humans can't do. But so does everyone. I've never seen someone do a spiral or arrow. And that's like not even remotely supernatural. Nice. Dizzy? I think so, yep. That was beautiful. Wanna come back. Oof. Bro must have had meter, right? Yeah, bro had meter. Yeah, no taunt. And then I think electricity does more, right? Even mid-screen? Couldn't he have done electricity here? He definitely could have done EX hook though. Bro almost had his dagger moment. You no, maybe, but EX would have killed. Spending the meter was the misplay. Nice. Drop DX is possible. But it's that one's also strange because either way it's the wrong route. I feel like he should have done electricity, right? It shouldn't have even been spin hook. I love that sequence, the double back face into re-corner. Depends on how many hits of electricity you get. And I don't know Dudley offhand. And I think it might change mid-screen versus corner. Anyway, he didn't even EX it, so you don't need that many hits to do more than meterless. Oh, beautiful. Not dizzy yet. There it is. Got it on a sweep. Dudley did not block. Or maybe he only blocked during the throws. I love that confirm. That's Necro's weird little TC. It's only good for confirming SA. Well, I mean, I guess SA1 and SA3. It's only good for confirming super. It's quite executionally demanding, weirdly enough. The TC requires you to be holding back for the light kick, but not the medium punch. The cool thing about anti-air down back fierce is that the parry timing can be different from back fierce. And also, even if you parry it as a jumper, you can't always land on Necro with your jumping combo. It's an interesting option for him as an anti-air. I think it's better in this matchup because of Dudley's low jump. Anti-airs change a little bit in this matchup, but usually in a way that favors Dudley. The red parry attempt, what he got was still very good. I'm actually pretty sleepy. Maybe I'll just go to the end of this video. I intended to stream for longer than this, but then I watched quite a few videos of myself playing. And that took a good, like, 40 minutes or whatever. Wow, the pushback on that is like nil. Nice. This Necro player is killing it. Really smart plays. Bedge. I bet that's a really fire face that I just can't see. Is it Franker faces or something? My Franker faces has to be like re-enabled and I haven't been doing it. Dank! Very rare instance of the double super being correct. 5 hits? 5 hits. In the corner you get 5 hits on Dudley. Mid-screen I have no idea. 4 more, you labbed it? Good shit. I got a lot of respect when people lab stuff. How many hits of electricity did you get? Did you try it mid-screen? Dog face, no space. Okay. Truly EX was the way. I mean, maybe he just greeted. It's possible. Maybe he just thought medium would kill. These animals from Dudley are just murdering Necro's ATRs. This must be that one active frame thing that Necro players are always telling me about. Most of Necro's Zoom normals only have one active frame. In fact, most of his normals in general, I think. But I think not all of them. Something like Down Back Fierce might have more than that. Background House has more than that, I'm pretty sure. Five hits. What the fuck was that? He got a forward dash. It must be so satisfying to EXTP someone as Dudley. Dudley players look like they're having a lot of fun. It's surprising that Dudley doesn't have more players. That being said, he's moderately popular, both in tournaments and in casuals. He's like probably top quarter in both. Quartile. Red. Oh. Imagine going through all the trouble of getting that red parry and then just getting punished anyway. What the fuck was that? He failed the super link. He went for low short super and he got low short into button. No red. Oh, you just get a punish anyway there, I'm high. Or it just does close strong, it's in range. Anytime where Aura is close enough to get close strong, it just feels so good. Oof. Missed out on a dizzy. That's unsafe too. Oh. Dudley didn't have a great thing to do there, maybe. Normally you do stand strong ducking super there. He might have been able to do stand strong uppercut, I don't know. Stand strong like machine gun blow. That's the thing, right? Is 5 hits of electricity actually stronger? Because I thought it was. Okay. That's what I thought. One's pretty damn close. Oh, the Dizzy Bar is so nice, but he's gonna die first. Oh, Dudley got turned around in midair. And then still Necro was on the other side of him. Very goofy. Dudley unfortunately does not have a cross up. Fortunately for us, unfortunate for Dudley players. That's crouching hit only. He did it like it was going to be a punish. Oh, red parry attempt failed. I'm sure Necro went for low parry there. He's been going for low parry on that rose reset a lot. I understand that. I think I was a little bit the same way with Oro. If Oro was the first character I played, I don't know if I would have found him that fun. No, I still would have. I don't think I would have noticed the attractive parts of him if I didn't play other characters first. When I first played this game, I tried to play Ken. And then I played Alex for a little bit, and then Hugo for a while. And when I say a while, when I say Ken, I tried to play Ken, it would be like for like a couple days. And then Alex was like for like a week. And then Hugo was for several months. And then Oro was for, I don't know, 20 years. Wow. That's an uncomfortable thought. I picked up Street Fighter 3 in 2006, actually. So like 19 years. It's very rare for someone in the FGC to have played before SF4. The FGC was very small before SF4. I was kind of like unusual for playing fighting games before that game. That was a big deal mostly for 2D fighting games. I don't know when Tekken ballooned out. These players in this thing are quite high quality. I get the feeling they also play each other a lot. Tekken 7... Was Tekken 7 the first time I had online? No. Tekken 5 had like a PS3 port that I think had online play. Tekken 6 must have had online. And Tag 2 was between 6 and 7, wasn't it? Ironically, 3D fighting games might have, like, one of their biggest glow-ups might have been when Soul Calibur 2 dropped. Or just Soul Calibur 1. Soul Edge was a good game, but I don't know how popular it actually was. But Soul Calibur 1 and Soul Calibur 2 were both absurdly popular. But I think Tekken's engine is cleaner than Soul Calibur's. At least low forward is pretty funny. I love what they did with it in Omega. Omega was such a cool game. One of these days we'll go back to making Omega videos. Oh, that would have been a funny thing to do for April Fools, is just make a Omega video. The funniest thing I could have possibly done was make Bad Balance Yang. I actually have a Bad Balance video fully scripted and about half recorded. It's not Yang. I did it. I did like half of it, and then I got distracted doing other stuff. If you guys ask nicely, I'll tell you who it is. Ah, the pretty please. It is T-Hawk. To give you a little summary of the video, T-Hawk is kind of notable because he's not horrible, but he's like consistently like bottom 3 in the game until Ultra, and it just shows like how completely disinterested the devs were in fixing him. Same issue as DJ. But then the thing that really makes it an enticing video to me, besides that, is the connection between T-Hawk and Lily from a gameplay perspective, and how they used Lily to fix T-Hawk's issues. I think is quite interesting. Because a lot of people are not very familiar with T-Hawk these days, but do know a decent amount about Lily. And they might not be aware that Lily is a spiritual successor to T-Hawk. And even if you are loosely aware of that, it's quite interesting to see how T-Hawk's like lasting issues were fixed by Lily. Balance is a gazillion times better in modern games. It's not even a question. The era of hotfixing has immensely helped game balance, and we also just have better ways of kind of testing stuff. Yeah, the fighting games have been homogenized somewhat. Not with each other, but within the game itself. Oh, that was a beautiful corpse hop. Oh, he went for it. Ironically, that's actually a pretty easy red parry. But it's also a little bit chaotic and random. I did not play the Fatal Fury beta. Because the hits are so close together, basically any timing you do the red parry attempt, you'll hit it. But the problem is, because the hits are so close together, you can get hit during your neutral frame. You have to have at least one neutral frame for your red parry attempt. So it's kind of easy, but also sometimes it just won't work. If you try to only red parry the last hit, it's not too bad. But if you're trying to red parry to avoid chip, you've got to start red parrying like pretty early. And you won't necessarily be ready for the timing. Ugh. Necro's corner pressure is so fun. Necro players are also having a good time. Unfortunately, their character isn't as good as Dudley, so they're having a bad time if their character's getting counterpicked. But that's the game we play. Beautiful. Beautiful. He didn't even kill. Why was the damage on that sequence so low? The short. Mistimed. That might be one of those one active frame attacks. No super confirm. Oh, he's over. Oh, that's the last one. Unfortunately, I'm very sleepy, or else I put on another. Yes, individual hits and multi-hit moves do scale separately in this game, I'm pretty sure. Scaling usually happens on a hit count rather than what the action is. Anyway, I'm going to bed.